Hey there, everyone. Today I'm going to have a conversation with Jarrett Rogers of Guild Mortgage. And today we are going to go over a 2-for-1 buy down, a 3-2-1 buy down, and his little PDF will also show a 1-for-1 buy down, though not as attractive as these two other programs. And I want to make sure that you understand that when I am helping these lenders promote their products, that I am trying to give them some exposure. This is not a paid-for endorsement. I am just trying to help all of you. And that means even if you're paired up with another real estate agent, you're currently under agreement with them, that's fine. This information is meant to help all of you. If you're working with another lender, this may help you as well. Maybe they have that program and they just haven't exposed you to it. So this is meant to be helpful. I also want to preface this video by saying that in my conversations with lenders, I'm hoping to educate myself. When people call me, I want to be able to speak intelligently about VA loans, FHA loans, conventional loans, USDA loans, investor loans, hard money loans, ARM mortgages, any sort of program that comes up. That way, when you are engaged in the process of buying real estate, you have the most amount of information possible. I mean, information is key in this industry. So please enjoy the video, and we'll be back at the end to kind of recap what we learned. Hey, Jarrett. Good to talk to you, man. I hope all is well in this crazy real estate market with rapidly rising, rapidly changing, rapidly falling interest rates. And I was thinking back to our conversation we had on the phone the other day about some of these buy down programs, and I think they're pretty helpful. And I want to let everyone know who might be watching this video what these loan programs are, how they can be beneficial, who might want to take advantage of them, what do they cost, and what are all the loan criteria that might go into these things. So I wanted to start off with a pretty basic question that is, what is a buy down program?
So a buy down program or a temporary buy down program, you can do a 3-2-1, a 2-1, or a 1-0. It's essentially having the client, whether it's a first-time home buyer or a seasoned home buyer, it's having them start off making payments based off of a lower interest rate than they currently have locked on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. For example, if you have a 3-2-1 loan and you lock at a 6% interest rate, then your first year of payment is going to be based off of a 3% interest rate. Your second year is going to be based off of a 4%, and your third year is going to be based off of the 5%. And then from the 4th to the 30th year, it's going to go and be based off of that 6% note rate that you initially locked it at. But it's going to allow them to have reduced initial payments and predictable payments too, so they can plan for that.
That's a great way of just kind of bundling it all into one short answer. I love that. I think that buyers can understand exactly what a buy down program is, as opposed to a traditional 30-year, 15-year program that they might get in either FHA, VA, or conventional. So you addressed this a little bit, but how would this program benefit, the classic first-time home buyer? Someone has decided to relocate to our state, our market, and they hear the news, they see the information that's out there on social media, and they think, am I able to even afford a home? How does this program benefit them?
Well, let's be honest, there's a lot of moving expenses when it comes to when you're traveling or moving your family or just relocating to another state. What this allows them to do is to prep for a lower monthly payment on their mortgages for 1, 2, or 3 years and ease into that payment. But that's not really the only benefit that they'll receive from that. So with the current mortgage interest rates, they have increased, right? That's something that's going on in the market. They can hold on to a lower payment, and when the rates start falling back down, they can refinance the loan and and take advantage of a better interest rate on the 30-year fixed mortgage. Instead of just locking at a 6 and sticking with it. If it's a 2-1 buy down, then their first year of payment is going to be at a 4%. So that's going to save them hundreds of dollars.
Okay. We all know that moving is expensive, and saving some bucks after you get into your mortgage is definitely beneficial. So how exactly does this program work with the amount of concessions that a seller would give up in negotiation and hand that money over to the loan scenario? So you as the loan officer says, okay, if you're going to do a 2-for-1 buy down, I need X amount of dollars in order to set up a 2-for-1. And that money then gets used how? Like, how will they account for it on all the paperwork that you're going to have them fill out and sign at closing?
So there's going to be an escrow account that's set up alongside the loan, and it's the buyer doesn't have to worry about that. The mortgage company is going to set up this escrow account. So let's say, for example, a 2-1 buy down. That's going to be roughly anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000. That's going to be the cost from it, but it's not going to be paid by the buyer. It's going to be paid by the sellers or the builder, and all that money is going to be put into an escrow account. So every month, you're going to be tied to, so like on a 2-1 buy down, let's say 6% is the note rate. So your first year is at a 4% interest rate. You're going to be paying the principal and interest based off of the 4% interest rate. Now you're going to be locked at a 6%, but that difference of the payment is going to be paid through the escrow account that was set up at the very beginning of the loan.
Okay. And I want to reference this PDF that you sent me that has these numbers on there so that people can follow along. So using the 2-for-1 buy down, and this is on a $500,000 loan amount. So it might be a $600,000 home with 100,000 down, or it could be a 550 home with 10% down. But walk us through the 2-for-1 buy down numbers in that scenario that you sent me.
Okay, so the 2-1 buy down is going to be in the center. The 3-2-1 is up at the top, and the 1-0 is at the bottom.
Yep.
So if you look at the far left, you're going to see the $500,000 loan amount, the interest rate, which is the current note rate that the client is going to be locked at the start of the loan, and then the term 360 months is a 30-year mortgage. So in the first year up at the top, you'll see that there's a 4% interest rate tied to it. The second year, there's going to be a 5% interest rate. And then the third to the 30th year is going to be the 6%. Now, to the right of that, you're going to see the monthly payment. Now, that monthly payment is going to be based off of the 6% interest rate, the current note rate that you're locked at the start of the loan. So to the right of that one is going to be the actual payment that the borrower or the client is going to make in that year. So
Okay.
if you look at the first year, the payment by the borrower at a 4% interest rate is going to be $2,387. The monthly savings that they're going to have is to the right of that at $610.68. That's the amount of money that's going to be taken out of the escrow account to cover the difference between the 6% interest rate and the 4% interest rate every single month. So that's coming out of the escrow account, and that's where the client doesn't have to worry about that. It's tied to the loan, so it's just really simple and easy for them.
So brass tacks on this scenario: first year, $500,000 loan amount, they're going to save $610.68 a month on their monthly payment. The total savings for that year is $7,328.11. And if they were buying a 500,000, or if they were buying a 550 or a $600,000 home, my experience recently has been that sellers at the $600,000 price range will definitely consider offers where they are giving up a nominal amount of $11,000 in concessions. So the buyer doesn't have to come up with this money to help save money. It's paid for through seller concessions.
It's 100% paid for through seller concessions. And like you said, I've seen it in multiple deals myself where sellers are given 2 or 3%, even more in some occasions, of seller concessions that the buyer can just use for a temporary buy down program to be set up better for the future.
Gotcha. And then if our viewers were to take a look at the 3-2-1 buy down, you'll see then that it's about a $22,000 concession. Now that's only available for certain loan programs. Which ones can take advantage of a 3-2-1?
So FHA and a VA mortgage can both do 3-2-1 temporary buy downs on the mortgages. Yes.
Okay. Okay. And that's due to lending rules based on the amount of concessions that a seller can give over.
Absolutely. On an FHA mortgage, there's no down payment requirement for this. They can give a maximum of 6% seller concessions. On a VA, they can give a maximum of 4% seller concessions.
Okay. Okay. Um, and then as far as, the hope on the horizon, especially for you and I, is that rates come back down. The Fed accomplishes their goal of reducing inflation to a number that American society and they feel comfortable with, and they start dropping rates, and we suddenly see buyers, who did this program, they got locked in at 6%. They kind of have this maybe a little bit of a feeling that, gosh, there's a better rate out there. Should I refinance? What happens to that money that's been escrowed on behalf of the seller concession? And how does that relate to what they might try and do with a refinance with you down the road?
That is a great question. So with a refinance, so let's say you hold the loan, a temporary buy down loan. Let's say you hold it for about a year, and we notice that the interest rates have fallen, and they fall into a level that you want to take advantage of. Like you want to refinance, and you don't want to lose this rate, but you're also worried because you probably have $10,000 sitting in an escrow account, if not more, that you are utilizing for this temporary buy down loan. That money is not lost. That money does not go to the banks. That money does not go in anybody's pocket but your own. It's going to be applied directly to the principal balance of the loan during a refinance. So not only will you take advantage of a lower interest rate, but you're also reducing the principal balance of your loan at the same time for whatever money is left over in that escrow account.
Okay. And since most borrowers then, and I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but since most borrowers, uh, do what they call no out of pocket refinances, where they add the loan costs back to the loan value, it's almost a wash where you have them doing a principal reduction. And this money came from that escrow, and then they're just going to add that balance back to their loan, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
they can go through a refinance and not pay anything at all.
That's pretty amazing considering that most refinances cost money, but in this case here, your escrow is kind of the gift that keeps on giving.
Absolutely.
Okay. That sounds like a really great loan program. And I just want to know if there are any other points that you want to cover again, make clear, or some last bits of information that perhaps we didn't get to in our previous points. Anything that relates to FHA, VA, minimum credit scores that Guild will work with. Is this loan program still beneficial if you're coming in at the lower range of credit scores? If you have a really high credit score, does this loan program, really benefit you? So just kind of, you know, go into a little more detail on that, if you will.
Absolutely. So, one thing to take note is that a temporary buy down is just an addition to a normal FHA conventional VA USDA loan. It's just an addition to it. So they're still going off of the same guidelines that we always have to go off of on these conforming loans. The minimum credit score, for example, on a conventional is going to be 620. So 620 and above, you could still benefit from doing a temporary buy down. FHA, VA, USDA, the government mortgages, their minimum is going to be at 540. The only difference is with FHA, if you're between a 540 and a 579 credit score, that's going to increase the down payment requirement on that loan to a 10%. Now, if it's 580 and above, that's when you'll get away with doing a 3.5%. But this temporary buy down is just an addition on the loans that help clients in a high rate environment.
I understand. Um, well, I don't have any other questions, and I think we've touched on the main points here for this loan program. Um, I think that the buyer that benefits the most from this is a home purchasing scenario where the seller is maybe perhaps a little bit reticent to take off, 5, 10, 15% of purchase price because somebody wants a great deal, but they're willing to offer up 2, 3, 4% in concessions to sell their home very close to list price, but at the same time help benefit the buyer. I mean, if we can, I'm looking at this scenario and kind of drooling and thinking, wow, there's a way to get somebody at least for a year back to 3% interest rate. That's pretty appealing, tantalizing. I mean, pick your favorite adverb there, but um, I'm excited. I hope that this program works for a lot of people, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about it.
Of course, of course. And if you ever have any questions in the future, you can always reach out. And I do appreciate you for letting me come on and discuss this.
Awesome. Thank you much, and we'll be in touch soon.
All right, take care.
Okay. All right. We just finished our conversation with Jarrett Rogers of Guild Mortgage, and hopefully all of you learned as much as I did. Let's recap. These are traditional 30-year products. He did also mention to me in a conversation after we finished filming that this also works for a 15-year conventional or 15-year FHA, but the issue with that is the discount in the rate isn't attractive enough. It was a quarter point as of today's rates. So just focus on this as a 30-year program. And the idea is we're trying to expose you as the buyer to opportunities where your seller concessions go just a little bit further. And as he mentioned, that money is kind of stockpiled or put into an escrow is the more official real estate term for it. But it's stockpiled for you to draw off of. Your lender maintains control of that escrow, but they help to reduce your monthly payment. So if you're getting into a home and there are remodeling costs or decorating costs, or you want to buy furniture or outfit that new living room with a big screen TV, there's some savings that are built into these programs. And I will tell you, as of the filming of this video, December of 2022, sellers are willing to contribute concessions that they weren't willing to do a year ago. Rates were in the 3s a year ago. Now they're in the 6s, and the Federal Reserve has indicated that more rate increases are coming as they attempt to tamp down inflation or pull it back. And programs like this, again, your interest rate is locked in, and it will bump up a year from now and then subsequently another year later. But if you're of the mindset that a program like this helps you get into this home and you like the payment savings, and I will reference this just so we're clear, on the 2-for-1 buy down on a $500,000 loan, you're going to be saving $610 a month. That's pretty powerful. And that savings may mean a lot of comfort to you when you just get moved in. So if you have questions, please reach out to Jarrett. His information will be at the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions in general about real estate, please reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help you. Thanks for watching.